Hello and welcome to our discussion of the case study Transforming Human Resources at Novartis. The Human Resources Information System, HRIS. Novartis is a Swiss healthcare and pharmaceutical company. Novartis came into being because of the merger of Ciba-Geigy and Sandoz in December 1996. CEO of Novartis, Dan Vasella had begun the transformation to make Novartis a high-performance company. Ciba-Geigy and Sandoz were two slow-moving, functional silos. The initial post-merger integration was successful in terms of financial performance. HR organization and its people had several priorities including 1. Talent management. 2. Organizational development and strengthening. 3. Reward and recognition. 4. Winning team spirit. 5. Core processes. 6. IT support. By 2003, one significant priority was yet to be achieved. This was to implement a firm-wide Human Resources Information System, HRIS. This global HRIS would convert many of the transaction-based HR core processes to an internet-based system. The HRIS project was allocated a budget of 78 million Swiss francs. The HRIS project was a computer-based system. The HRIS project was expected to transform the HR function and how it related to line management. Novartis was unsure whether the HR organization was ready to implement this kind of transformation at Novartis. Novartis was a world leader in the research and development of products to protect and improve health and well-being. Dan Vasella, a medical doctor, is the CEO and chairman. The 2002 sales of Novartis were $20.9 billion. The Novartis businesses were organized into two divisions, Novartis Pharmaceuticals and Novartis Consumer Health. Novartis Pharmaceuticals accounted for 65% of sales and Novartis Consumer Health accounted for 35% of sales. In 2002, Novartis employed approximately 73,000 employees, operating through 360 affiliates in 140 countries. The CEO and chairman of Novartis wanted to bring a new culture of performance management and focus on results at Novartis. The name Novartis meant new skills. This name not only reflected the company's commitment to focus on research and development but also reflected the need for new skills to become a results-driven organization. The HR function included over 700 associates distributed across the globe in various business units. After the merger, Novartis implemented a number of innovative HR programs. 1. A high-performance management system. This system combined annual objective setting and performance reviews. 2. The Organization and Talent Review, OTR, process. This system was used to identify and develop talent within Novartis to improve leadership bench strength and organizational capability. This system leveraged the Novartis 8 leadership standards, shown in Exhibit 3 of the case study. Under this system, line managers were required to rate their associates in 4 categories. 1. High potential. 2. Promotable. 3. High professional. 4. Essential contributor. The Performance Management System and Organization and Talent Review System helped Novartis identify and develop great leaders and to put them in the right jobs at the right time. Novartis knew that developing pipeline of new drugs was as important as developing a new pipeline of leaders. The Fast Action for Results, FAR, program. The FAR program designed to rapidly address issues identified by a management sponsor. This process consisted of a 2-day workshop. At the end of the workshop, all parties were required to reach an agreement on actions that were to be implemented within 90 days. FAR program provided significant cost reduction at many points in time. Novartis Learning Programs. These programs were dedicated to developing Novartis managers' talents and inspiring them to grow as business leaders. 10 distinct learning programs were part of this program. These programs included 1. Marketing Excellence Program. 2. Marketing Awareness Program. 3. Project Management Curriculum. 4. Novartis Leadership Program. 5. Leading at the Frontline. 6. The Role of the Leader. 7. Business Leadership Program. 8. Finance Excellence. 9. Business Finance 2. 10. HR Excellence. All these learning programs were offered multiple times throughout the year. In 2002, over 3,000 managers attended these programs. Other new programs included 1. MBA Recruitment. 2. Share Options for Key Associates. 3. Mentoring. These initiatives reflected Novartis' strategic HR priorities. These priorities included 1. Talent Acquisition and Management. 2. Associate Engagement and Alignment. 3. Organization Capability and Functioning. 4. Compensation and Benefits. 5. HR Infrastructure. One significant gap in HR infrastructure priority was the lack of a global HR information system. At Novartis, the workforce was constantly changing. Managers were unable to quickly and accurately know even simple HR information. For example, how many HR associates were working at Novartis? The HRIS was an IT project designed to standardize many of the company's HR processes. The HRIS would consolidate HR data into a single, global system. The long-term goal of HRIS was that 1. Employees would be able to update their own information on a real-time basis via the Internet. 2. Managers would be able to obtain global reports on HR activities based. The HRIS would all geographical regions and all business units and global functions. The HRIS would automate various HR transactions so that HR staff can have more time for strategic activities. See Exhibit 5 of the case study. The HR management team determined that the following mission-critical HR processes should be included in the HRIS. 1. Performance Management System. 2. The Organization and Talent Review Process. 3. Compensation Data. 4. And Employee Work and Life Events. There were significant IT challenges associated with implementing a global HRIS. The implementation of HRIS also represented a major transformation in the fundamental role and responsibilities of the HR function. When fully implemented, HRIS would bring fundamental change in relationships between HR professionals and their business partners. Under HRIS, the HR professionals would be expected to play a more strategic and consultative role to the business. As such, the HRIS implementation was an integral part of the Novartis long-term strategy of HR transformation. One critical outcome of this transformation would be the global standardization of key HR programs and policies. A key to the success of the global HRIS was organizations' acceptance of this new system. No matter how well the new HRIS is implemented from a technical standpoint, it would not provide much value unless it was accepted and used effectively. To facilitate the acceptance of HRIS in the organization, the global HRIS team was composed of executives who were seasoned and knowledgeable in many critical areas. These executives were supposed to ensure the buy-in, cooperation, and commitment of everyone at Novartis, beginning with the HR function. The Global HRIS project had 4 main objectives. 1. To implement world-class HR processes and systems. 2. To provide HR data in an accurate, timely manner on a global basis. 3. To speed up HR decision-making processes. 4. To reduce HR operating costs while upgrading performance and service. The logic driving the HRIS project was straightforward. The environment was become very competitive. the pharmaceutical industry was consolidating. Therefore, organizations had to be able to act quickly and have good data readily available to make critical decisions. The overall success of Novartis depended on its intellectual capital. Therefore, it was very important that Novartis is able to recruit, develop, motivate, and retain people. Vasillo highlighted this by saying better people produce better results. To achieve the strategic objectives of Novartis, HR department needed to provide accurate and timely data on the numbers of people available with certain skill sets. HR department also needed to make sure that there is a sufficient number of skilled people available for various businesses of Novartis. In 2003, there was only one ready now associate for each leadership position and only 42% of leadership vacancies were filled from within Novartis. HR department wanted to make sure that there are at least 2 ready now HR associates for each leadership position. HR department also wanted to make sure that 70% of leadership vacancies are filled from within Novartis. Closing this gap represented one of the central HR challenges facing the HR leadership team. With existing IT systems, HR department was unable to perform these tasks. In Novartis, there had been little centralization or standardization of HR data. A survey of the existing HR information systems revealed that the company had no consistent standards, no consolidated database, no ability to provide data in a form to reflect their matrix structure, difficulty in supporting the businesses in identifying, moving, and tracking talent, multiple, fragmented systems, local, other, or no system. IT systems decentralized by country or by business unit. Exposure to many small vendors with non-integrated niche applications. Exposure to legal, regulatory non-compliance. Many of the existing HR systems had been developed to support individual business units that operated within a particular country, division, or function. These disparate systems could not be used effectively across Novartis. The new HRIS was expected to solve this problem. The new HRIS was expected to allow managers and HR professionals to respond to the business challenges in many ways. For example, the new HRIS would improve customer satisfaction, reduce HR administration, increase standardization, provide greater support to the business for workforce management and business strategy, offer more consistent, timely and up-to-date information on people, and reduce HR operational costs. The planned duration of global HRIS implementation was 2.5 years. The new HRIS was to be implemented in phases beginning in the third quarter of 2003. The HRIS implementation team consisted of very experienced people. Novartis was not the first major corporation to go through this type of transformation. A growing number of organizations had experience in implementing EHR systems. However, no organization started with the exact same circumstances and, therefore, adopted different approaches. Despite differences, there were lessons to be learned, both positive and negative, from other companies' experiences. Novartis chose MySAP HR. This was the HRIS developed by SAP. The MySAP HR had many success stories. The following table provides an overview of important features of MySAP HR implementations. While each of these implementation was different, there were some commonalities as well, such as 1. Need for a substantial change of mindset. 2. Need to significantly rethink existing processes. These implementations also faced many challenges. Global companies try to identify best practices and standardize processes that can be used across the company. However, local units usually want to maintain their specific ways of doing things, tailored to specific market conditions. This creates an ongoing challenge to make trade-offs between conflicting objectives. Many a times, The local units are unable to explain why the standardized processes will not work in their specific market. This leads to inevitable tensions and conflicts and requires deep functional and business insight. It is important for the project team not to lose momentum. Project team must make constant communication and convincingly articulate the business value of the HRIS project. The HRIS project team must pay close attention to cultural differences in communication. To get buy-in and agreement from different countries and cultures, it is important to understand different approaches and responses. The signals that constitute agreement and support can vary by country, and there is a potential for misinterpretation of how much commitment is present. To build awareness, the HRIS project team should create global visibility of HRIS for the employees and managers. The initial focus of HRIS project team should be on small but quick wins. These quick wins can be gained by first developing small subsystems that could solve some basic problems of the users. These quick wins are instrumental in generating awareness and excitement about the HRIS project. These wins also make it easier to implement the more sensitive HR processes that would affect employees personally. Despite early successes, the HRIS project team may face unanticipated difficulties. In terms of internal marketing, the message to the organization should be to under-promise and over-deliver. In selling the HRIS project, there is a risk of overselling the project benefits to gain commitment. This can cause problems when the actual system does not deliver the promised benefits. Senior leadership in the company needs to be committed to driving the implementation, not simply funding the project. When disagreements occur about HRIS system design, top managers must be available to keep the HRIS project on track. In designing the HRIS system, the project team should stay focused on features that add value to the business, not on those that are interesting to HR. The project team should not lose momentum over a long HRIS implementation process. The team must stick to the schedule of deliverables and not let things slip. Metrics are important, but project team should not try to fix everything in advance. It is important to remember that too much planning can result in lack of action. End users must be involved and feel ownership of the system. To achieve this, project team must think in advance how end users will be involved, what the marketing and communication messages will be, and how the tools will really be used. The HRIS implementation team knew that the implementation could be a long and, at times, painful process. The HRIS project would bring a major transformation of HR function within Novartis. The HRIS would affect how the HR processes would work. The HRIS would also affect how HR associates would interact with others. It was important that cover the technical aspects of HRIS correctly. Novartis knew that the HRIS system was only the technical infrastructure to enable the HR transformation. Implementation of HRIS alone would not be sufficient to bring the needed change and have line managers respect the HR function. To bring the desired change, Novartis will have to bring a more fundamental transformation in the role of HR. This change would require HR function to become a strategic partner and change agent. As such, the technical implementation of HRIS must simultaneously occur with an evolution of the basic role of HR function. This evolution of HR function was very important for the success of HRIS. This was because line manager had mixed feeling whether HR associates were operationally robust and already acting as strategic business partners or not. Novartis was not sure whether they were ready for implementing the global HRIS within Novartis. After implementation of HRIS, the HR function would only spend 20% of their time on administrative activities. Novartis was unsure about many things such as 1. What would the new role of the HR professional and whether they had the required competencies? 2. What would be the likely obstacles they would face during this transition and whether they could prepare for them in advance? 3. How they would deal with the resistance from some line managers to their new role. 4. Were there things that they should be doing to prepare people for these issues? Novartis knew they were aiming to bring a transformation that required much more than technical implementation of an HRIS. They were not completely sure they understood what this transformation might involve. A deeper understanding of this transformation was very important because, as a senior business executive mentioned, the people, not the products, will be the great differentiation for Novartis in the future. The chairman and CEO of Novartis noted by saying a focus on people and leadership development will be critical to the success of Novartis. HR needs to upgrade its capabilities for us to realize our goals. Following are the assignment questions of this case study. 1. What are the major challenges facing the Novartis HR organization in the implementation of the HRIS, technical, organizational, managerial? 2. Why do these systems sometimes fail? 3. Given these challenges, what are the major obstacles and what will it take to overcome them? 4. Given a successful implementation, how will the role of HR be in the future? How will it be different from today? What competencies will be needed by HR professionals?